We were talking just a second ago about the Australian dollar, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. After CPI, again, Aussie down. What are your take on Australian dollar? Any other pairs that you're watching in terms of this?
Well, let's look at Aussie dollar, US dollar, because it's quite an interesting one on the weekly chart. So I consider this a clear downtrend on the weekly chart. If we imagine this level through here was the last low on the weekly chart, this candle here broke those lows. So for me at this point, we're in a downtrend, technically we're in a downtrend.
Sure.
And, I pay a lot of attention to candlesticks and what they are telling me. And then just look at the wicks on these candles. Look at all of this selling pressure on the weekly chart. It's just nothing but sellers in there. And you can see prices coming down now as we speak. If we drop down to the day chart now, so on this weekly chart, potentially back down to these levels. Okay, that's a much higher time frame view, obviously. But the day chart, again, it's still coming down. I would only be looking for shorts, really. We're gonna face a bit of resistance here, but if it breaks this resistance as well, then nothing but shorts for me on Aussie dollar, US dollar. And I really like that graphic about comparing the interest rates. It's just a cheaper currency, if you like, compared to the US dollar.
Yeah, it's always an interesting one to look at when we're talking. At the end of the day, interest rates are a driving force when it comes to currencies, whether they're rising, whether they're falling, et cetera. And so when we get those weak numbers in terms of inflation, now, of course, inflation on the decline is not necessarily bad. In fact, it's probably great for people of that country in terms of, the price of goods not rising so fast and that sort of thing. But in terms of the currency and the value of that currency, interest rate hikes, as we saw with the dollar in 2022, were a really driving force. Where the U.S., if you ever are curious on the impact of interest rates, right? You look at the dollar during 2022, and it was just nothing but straight shot up, because in terms of the central banks, the U.S. was raising rates the fastest of the major currencies. So kind of an interesting thought there. Frank, what do you think on anything on Australian dollar? You have any interest in this pair, or are you kind of avoiding it? What do you think?
Sure. I noticed a lot of correlation between this and the S&P. So if the S&P starts having a good week with earnings and stuff, it's probably going to do the same. But I can't remember where you drew your fib level. I don't think it really has that much room to run, if I'm being completely honest. If it does pop up, I see it sort of in like the 0.6638 level, where that previous top was. And I only say that because I know the dollar is weak, but it's not as weak as the Australian dollar. And I know if they keep selling, my sentiment might start to flip. But I think when it comes to these two currencies, the buck is much weaker. And like Tom said, this is a really strong downtrend. So I'm not really looking to go for any longs in the meantime.
This is the last week to take advantage of the massive 40% off sale on the EdgeFinder. And don't wait any longer, because this is the lowest price that it'll be all year. The EdgeFinder is a revolutionary trading software that combines fundamentals and technical trading all in one to help you find better trading entries. This is the same software that all of our expert traders use while scanning the markets. As we strive to make the EdgeFinder the best trading tool of all time by updating and upgrading it regularly, you'll never have to worry about paying for anything, because the EdgeFinder is a one-time payment for life. So what are you waiting for? Get it at the lowest price of the year before it's too late. To get access to the 40% off discount, make sure you use promo code A1YT at checkout. If you have any questions about the product or sale, click the chat with us link down in the description below to automatically get connected with one of our team members right now. Remember, promo code A1YT for a huge 40% off discount on the EdgeFinder, ending very soon.
Yeah, no, I would, in terms of upside, I think it would be limited, especially if I had to pick, I'd rather be long indices than the Australian dollar, just because, again, that central bank lagging behind potential is a pretty strong story when it comes to the currencies. What else are you looking at, Frankie? You have any ideas? I'll open up to anything that you're sort of
Yeah.
watching for.
So I entered into euro dollar this morning.
Okay.
Euro strong. I bought at this break. At this level was 1.1076. Price has pretty much come down to break even so far, but I like the second test and then the break above. So I'm just kind of holding on to this. The stops below this recent run up. So, in the 0.096 something, just to give the trade room to run, because it could pull all the way back down here before making another move. So I just like being in euro dollar right now. I'm confident in the like the COT reports that
Yep.
are just heavy on euro and
So you're
getting lighter
long
and lighter.
euro. You've got your stop below structure there. Where are you targeting? You think it's headed back up to that? You've got that orange zone drawn in your chart.
So let me go
Think
to
it's
the
headed up there?
chart. Yeah, I think its next stop, if it were to continue running, is probably somewhere up here in the 1.116, I don't know, somewhere close to where this high was. So
yeah, very interesting. And I'll show my view of euro. I'm sort of in the same boat. We had on the 4-hour chart, this level of resistance came in. Again, it held very nicely, but today, to your point, and will be very interesting. This is a 4-hour candle, and you kind of mentioned, in terms of the 4-hour candle, watching for this close. If we get like a strong close here, I think I'm totally with you. Like the euro could just keep trending higher. Again, what this does a lot of times is, as you get a break above, if it's able to hold that, it like sort of invites a lot more buy pressure into the market, because a lot of people are like, hey, this thing is going higher, it's healthy, buyers are holding there, and on up and away kind of thing. So I would generally agree, especially when you mentioned COT data shows institutional money is very long euro. I mean, that's a big deal, right? So we have in terms of the currencies, for the currency traders in the audience, the euro is the biggest long position of institutional positions proportionally wise. So, when we're looking at all the different currencies, we could actually even filter this by currencies for a second. We could take out things like oil, US 30, silver, SPX. Let's just take these out for a second, and we can just get a look at the currencies by themselves. And let's take out ZAR just for the sake of it. What we can see here is that the euro is our favorite. It is the number one in terms of institutional interest. Now, of course, on the flip side, we have our biggest short positions on the JPY, the Canadian dollar, and as we just got done talking about together, the Australian dollar is also very much on that heavy short list from institutional positions. On the long list, we have euro. We do also have dollar, and we also have the pound, which this is sort of a newer ad, because if you guys have been watching our content for a while, then that the pound used to be like way over here. Like, it used to be such a heavy short position from institutional traders. So we've actually watched this pound creep up into the right. This data, again, we mentioned it earlier, but if you guys want access to it, we're going to drop a link in the chat right now. You can click. If you want access to the data that we're looking at, click this and ask us about the EdgeFinder. It is our software tool here at A1 Trading. So we asked Frank, he's got euro dollar long. Tom, do you have any trades open or anything that you're looking to get into today? We'll let you take the floor for a second.
Okay, so yeah, a couple of trades I've been looking at today are these. So New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Been looking to short this pair. If we start with the weekly chart, yeah, we're clearly in a downtrend on the weekly. Okay, and we're coming out into an interesting area of potential resistance here. So we can see this downward structure. Does it have more room to retrace? Potentially, but I'm thinking this support level, now resistance, will take this back down to potentially these daily lows. weekly lows, sorry. If we go to the day chart, I also like the fact that structurally we were in a downtrend, and these lower highs, this last high held. Yeah, I like this. These are the things I like. I'm very sad. But yeah, this held, and this wick here that held onto this high and bounced off this moving average 20, you know, gives me extra pieces of confluence to take this shorter. I actually entered this trade earlier. So on the H1, I'm just looking for a structure breakdown. So as soon as we got, this is now the H1, as soon as we got this structure breakdown, tested these last highs through here, I entered around here and just took price down to this blue line first of all. This was my first target. And this is where I closed 80% of my trade. Yeah, okay. I closed 80% of my trade, and then I let 20% run for 12 years maybe. But you get the gist. I can just let that run. Sure. So that's basically what I look for, guys. I look for a bit of weekly and daily confluence. They're on the same page. And then I look for H1 structure breakdown, like this New Zealand Canadian dollar short. And yeah, I'm still in it for 20%.
So in terms of the remaining 20 that you have on, if it rolls over and breaks down further, at what point do you take the rest off?
So yeah, good question. Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll trail the 20. So, you know, initially my stop was up here. I'll move it to here. I'll see what price action does here. I'll move it to here and so on. But my higher time frame target is this blue line down here. Okay, so I'll look to take the remaining 20%, you know, back at these. These are daily lows down here. So this is what I'll be looking to do. You know, if it takes my trailing stop out, no problem. You know, I've already secured some profit, but yeah, I'll be looking to take this all the way down to here.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free EdgeFinder, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.